Okay, we're going to cover some more formatting options here in PowerPoint. We've learned about word art in previous units with Word and Excel, but you can see here this title was actually created using word art. So this new employee orientation, watch when I click off of it, I just have the regular tabs going across the top. But when I click on it, I have this drawing tools format tab that's been added. And in here I have this word art styles area, right? So you can see that you can change the style by clicking on that More button for our word art styles. The important thing to note here is that oftentimes the names of these styles are pretty similar, and you want to make sure you're picking exactly the correct one. So for example, this is saying fill black, text color 1, outline white, background color 1, hard shadow white, background color 1, and the one next to it is very similar to that, but it's got the indigo accent color 5. So you just want to be paying attention to exactly that you're picking the right one. Okay, so once you've selected it, you then have the ability in that word art styles group to change the text fill color, right? So if I decided afterwards I like that style, but I don't like that color, I want to change the color to be something else, right? I could do that, keeping in mind that it's best to have dark on light or light on dark, okay? Other things you can do is you can change the text outline. So I could give it sort of a blue outline to it. I could also, under my text effects here, I could choose to make it glow, which gets a little bit like crazy. But those are just different things you can do. And you've seen this before, so that's why I'm not covering it in a lot of information, with a lot of detail here. But just again, keep in mind that you're picking exactly whatever one they tell you to pick based on the description when you move your mouse over it. Okay. All right. So the other thing we're going to learn how to do here is I'm going to click on this placeholder where it says Nags Head Resort and Spa. And on the Home tab, we do have something a little bit different here than we've seen before. We saw it in a different place in Word, but it's this character spacing, okay? So if you notice right now, the character spacing, that's the spacing between my letters, is set to normal. But watch when I come here how, if I set it to be very loose, how it just sort of stretches it out, right? Sort of the same as expanded by for our character format when we did that in Word. But here it's a little bit easier to get to. And we could still, choose to right align that if we wanted to. Okay. Let's see what else. Oh, so just to point out here, you could also go to here and just like you could in Word, you could go to character spacing and you could expand by a particular amount. So we were able to pick that tight, loose, etc. But you also could have further customization, which gets you more to like what we did when we were in Word, where you could just come in and say, okay, I want to expand it by a set amount. And so that's how you would do that, basically. Okay. All right, so now over to slide 2. I'm going to select this bulleted list. And I want to show you that, you notice how this is sort of light on this background, right? I want to show you how we can actually change the color of that. So if we go, you wouldn't do it over here. That's what you'd probably be thinking. But that would change the font color of these words. Instead, what you need to do is come to the bullets and numbering list. Go down to the bottom where it says bullets and numbering, okay? And here is where you can actually change the color for the number. So I'm going to make it a little bit darker. I'm going to choose this indigo accent 5, darker 25%, okay? Click OK, and you can see how it's changed my numbers, not my words, but my numbers to be a little bit darker, right? Okay, so now we can do very much the same thing with a bulleted list, okay, except that you go to the drop-down list for the bulleted list. Let's say I decide I want to change this to check boxes maybe, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to go down to bullets and numbering, okay. I decide I want to change the color again, so I'll pick something brighter this time. But I also noticed that the size seems kind of small in relation to the text. So what I want to do is increase the size of these check marks so that they're percentage-wise a little bit bigger. So I'm going to up it from 50% to 70%, and I'm going to click OK. And you can see how basically it made those check boxes just a smidge bigger. Okay, so that's all you really need to know for skills 6, 7, and 8. See, PowerPoint's pretty easy.